to the Overlanders podcast. Overlanders podcast is here to shed light on all things business in the outdoors. My name is Jaime, and I'm with my good amigo Kingston.
What's up, guys? You ready for another guest for the podcast?
I'm always ready, especially because these guys are awesome.
Before we intro, let's address the elephant in the room.
Oh, this is a big one.
We got a video.
What?
We got a video over there.
I don't know what to do.
Just
with my
watching us over there.
This is cool. Yeah, we want to bring this to YouTube.
Yep, it's coming to YouTube. So Roaming Lost YouTube. Well, that's where it's going to be hosted because it seems to be the easiest. And obviously, you'll be able to hear the podcast in the normal way, but now there will be added video.
Totally.
So, and today on the podcast, we got Corey, aka Overland Dad, on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about children that we don't have.
Kingston and I both do not have children, as you probably know. I think I don't even know, dude. Our parents at my age, I'm 26. I'm pretty sure my dad and mom had 2 children by then.
Yeah, it's a different time. But Corey's got a bunch. What's up,
perfect.
Corey?
Yeah, I have quite a few now. Are you sure you guys don't have any kids, though? Are you sure about that?
Somewhere floating in the world. We just don't want to mention it. Damn,
if
Corey.
if they're out there, I don't know about them.
That'd be scary.
Right.
How many kids do you have, Corey?
I have 3 kids now.
3.
The newest addition came in the middle of 2020.
Congrats.
Yeah, right in the middle of the pandemic.
Wow.
Sierra. Yeah.
Little baby Sierra. Perfect name.
Yep. Yeah, little baby Sierra. So she's almost 9 months. And then we have Emma and Gavin, who are twins. They're just about to turn 6 here pretty soon.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats. I mean, the name, if you guys follow Corey on Instagram, many of you already do, but it's Overland Dad. No underscores, just straight Overland Dad. Right, Corey?
That's correct. Yep.
Can find him on YouTube, all that good stuff. And I think you were one of the first that I remember following that traveled with like a whole squad. And you did so out of the Land Cruiser originally. And that thing was dialed too, man.
Yeah, that thing was a beast.
Yeah, it was super dialed. And definitely parts of it that I missed for sure already. I only sold it like a couple months ago now.
What do you mean you missed? Did you get something new? I didn't even know. Tell us.
You
man.
didn't know?
Jeez.
Where you been, man? Where you been?
You haven't watched the YouTube video that we put out?
Yeah. Where you been, man? Yeah, I got a new 2021 Ford F-250 trimmer that I'm currently right in the middle of building out to accommodate our desire to go on more family adventures and make it more comfortable and easy for us.
Yeah, it's if you're interested in seeing the stock form on Roaming Lost YouTube, we did a video on like kind of before, and it's huge.
Yeah, it's a big truck.
But it's really not like, if you put it next to my truck, it's not like terribly big, but then when you start adding your stuff, it will definitely look a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once everything's on it, it's gonna look a lot bigger. It's definitely longer than your truck, quite a bit longer. I think.
Yeah.
It's a 4-door.
It's even longer than it's a 4-door, 6 3/4 foot bed. It's pretty long.
Yeah, I mean
it's 34 inches longer than the Land Cruiser. And I remember when I got the Land Cruiser, I was like, oh man, I'm so worried about the breakover angle on the Land Cruiser and but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
And now 34 inches longer.
Wow. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah. So your plan basically is just to be more comfortable out and about in this versus the Land Cruiser.
Yeah, it's just to make it easier camping on me as a dad. I go out with my kids usually alone. My wife does come sometimes, but with the newborn, it's more solo dad adventures. And so I'm kind of building this to make it really easy for me so that I feel more motivated and inspired to go out, not having to worry about, am I going to have enough water? Or, are the kids going to be comfortable if it's raining or it's windy?
Yeah.
So we're putting a camper on the back of it, which is kind of the whole reason we bought the truck.
Yeah.
So that's coming here pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. The whole like utility tray with the sliding camper is pretty sick because you can always You can always pull that camper off and have a full blown fucking service truck, really.
Yeah, ranch truck.
Right. Yeah, definitely a ranch truck, which is ironic because I live at the beach in the South Bay of LA, and I definitely don't have a ranch. But it is nice to have, I will say, and I'm excited to have sort of be able to take off the camper and use it as a normal daily truck and go around town, pick up some wood, pick up some plants, just take care of the house and all that fun stuff.
I love that you're both choices though, your Land Cruiser and the new Tremor. Clearly, you do your research because both of those vehicles, the platforms and the engines, are so incredibly reliable. And I recently drove the 250 Super Duty, but the Roush edition, and dude, you just can't beat that diesel.
The power is crazy.
The power is insane. I mean, I was coasting down the highway at the freeway. And before I knew it, I looked down, I'm like cruising at 80 miles an hour. Those engines are insane. I took it for the first shakedown to the Mojave Preserve, and cruising out there. We left at 9:00 at night, and we were just booking it. And I just couldn't believe I could just go 85. It was no problem. Totally.
On the way to Vegas, or almost to Vegas. Basically, that road is so open.
Yeah.
And not only was I able to go that fast, but I was also able to get 19 miles to the gallon. Yeah, which just absolutely blows my mind. First of all, on a Land Cruiser, I could not go that fast ever. Even when it's in its stock form, you could, but you're just pushing the truck.
Yep.
Because it just doesn't have a tremendous amount of power, which is funny. It does, but it doesn't really, especially considering the weight. But to be able to go that fast and get that kind of gas mileage, I was like, holy smokes, this is wild. This is so crazy.
Yeah.
You honestly, that truck is a workhorse. So when you put on, it is a power string. Overland Explorer vehicles, a Camp X, right, is what you're putting on there.
Yep, that's what I'm putting on the back. Yep, and then I'm putting on a Light Industries flatbed, which is actually a parent company of Overland Explorer vehicle.
Sick. Yeah, cool. I mean, you're going to put that on and it's not even going to feel like you're towing anything. That's what's so amazing about what platform you chose.
Yeah. And then I have a Carly suspension lift coming as well.
Oh, jealous, dude. They make that's the shit.
That's top of the line.
Yeah. Top of the line, and it's tuned from the factory from them to accommodate for the weight.
Oh, okay.
So it's valved, and the Deaver pack that's going in is also spec'd for 2,000 pounds of static load.
Damn,
so
I'm jealous.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm so excited.
It's interesting to see the switch because you up now, Kingston, Travis, Hess, you guys are all running diesels, and they're full size trucks. Your trucks are not small.
No, they're not small, but they have a lot of room.
Yeah, a lot of room and a lot of power.
A ton of room. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You cannot beat that. But on this episode, I think one of the biggest ones that we wanted to give people is, again, Kingston and I don't have kids.
But we think
that we know. Oh no, right. You just came back from Vegas, didn't you, Kingston? But we've gotten the question of camping with dogs, bringing newbies on the road, which we've done an episode on. But I want to bring the attention of how to camp with kids, because we might have a couple parents for following our followers, and want to give them some insight of tips and tricks and what to do and what not to do to keep a kid stoked on a trip.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's actually it's a question I get a lot from parents or soon to be parents. Typically, I don't get asked the question of how is it camping with kids when someone has a 5-year-old, but when someone's expecting or they just had a kid, that's when they're reaching out to me on Instagram saying, "Hey man, how'd you do it? How'd you get out there? How'd you start camping? How did that work?" And so I've collected some tips and tricks over the years, and definitely happy to share some of those with y'all.
Let's do it.
Yeah. What you got?
So yeah. Well, I think the thing is, camping with kids is it's extremely rewarding. And I'm being perfectly honest, it can be pretty challenging, right? Sure. And if you think, especially as a new parent, if you think you're going to go out and you're going to camp with your kids and it's going to be the same as it was without your kids, you're going to have a really bad time, right? It's not going to be the same. What's that?
The rude awakening.
The rude awakening.
Oh yeah, 100% rude awakening. It's not going to be the same. So, I think for young or new parents, I think the most important thing is this whole idea of like indoctrination, right? Like getting your kids in it and setting yourself up for success so that it works for you as a family unit, right? So some specific things would be like just starting young, we took our twins camping for the first time when they were 6 months old, and we didn't go to like the middle of the Mojave Preserve. We went to a campground, a super familiar place in Three Rivers, which I love, that had running water and toilets and amenities and a gas station across the street. Like it was super easy, and that that made it palatable. It was definitely a difficult first trip, but it also gave us the confidence to sort of go, okay, we did that. So what's next? And I think also for us, we've learned that with kids, it's really nice. It's super ideal to camp near a creek or even a small stream, because kids just love water.
Yep.
Yeah. Kids just want to be in it. They just want to play in it. They don't. I mean, everyone loves water, right? But more so for kids, and just honestly, like it's nice to have a creek to clean them off at the end of the day, because kids get so dirty when they're camping.
Kind of like Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow. I don't know how you camp with Shadow.
It's a different story.
I really like what's interesting too in the crossover that the connection is when we spoke on taking newbies on the road for the first time. One of the things that I brought to the table is that it would be cool to take them to San Alejo or Cardiff or something like that, where it's an easy getaway. It gives the kids the feeling of sleeping in a tent, waking up next to mom and dad or your friends, and exploring for the day. And if something arises and you forget something, it's literally just walk across the street to the gas station or fast food restaurant if they're just having a bad time.
Right. And you're like, oh man, I don't want to cook any food. Just go pick up some, some easy grub.
Exactly.
That happens, especially I think in the beginning for sure.
Having like small victories,
Right. Exactly. And that's what it's all about is really about the parent, building the confidence that like they can figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you kind of ease yourself into more and more remote places with less amenities, and you kind of down the road, you end up like me, where I'm like taking them anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I go alone. I don't care. I'm not worried about it anymore.
Did you have like a first like aha moment of bringing some type of gear or something that made it incredibly easy to bring your Grom for the first time, or your Groms? Because the first set was the twins, right? You were hit with twins for the first one.
Yeah, double.
That's
double whammy.
That's a shock, dude.
Bring other people with you who don't mind being around other kids.
Smart.
Yeah, that's
is a huge one. Don't go camping with people who don't like kids. Another one of those. You're just gonna have a bad time. Someone that's willing to like pick up the baby and like help you while you cook.
Yep.
Or vice versa. That's really helpful. And then like once they're at an appropriate age, bring toys that really facilitate playing in nature, like binoculars and flashlights and plastic shovels and trucks and magnifying glasses. All that fun stuff can be really helpful for the kids to like want to engage with their environment, and trying your best not to engage with like gadgets,
electronics,
iPads.
Yeah,
that's so nice.
Because I think there's like a primal sense for kids when they're out in nature, that they want to be engaging with nature. And so if you're giving them the tools they need to be able to sort of facilitate a good time, then you're going to set yourself up for success.
That's a really good point. I mean, even realistically, even with adults too, if you just bring stuff like spike ball or like fun card games or something that you really have to connect with the people versus just bringing a projection screen or going to a place with cell service and, everyone's just on their phones at the campfire. It's like you totally lose the connection or the validity of why you just made that trip happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a pretty good one for like just, that's a really great thing to have.
I love the magnifying glass one. It's like it's like a billboard ad, and you'd see like a kid in the grass with the magnifying glass.
Totally.
It
works. Yeah,
just
right.
arson.
Like, you gotta be careful with that. Yeah, Gavin, my son, he's at an age where like that's definitely like, oh, I can make heat with this thing, and now I'm like, oh, no future knows it anymore.
Oh no, that's funny.
But also like
forest fires are bad.
Yeah, totally. Let's not do that. I think something else too is as a parent being prepared to go into the tent when it becomes dark. I think is really something you really got to prepare for, because I feel like as a young adult, when you're like camping, you want to just hang out with the buddies around the fire, right? That's part of camping. It's really exciting to just hang out, or the gals, whatever. So I think having changing your mind around that, or sort of a mindset shift of like, okay, it's dark, therefore I need to be prepared. Now, some kids don't care, right? My son Gavin, he can care less. My daughter Emma, she's like, all right, it's dark. I want to go inside the tent. I want some light. I want some normalcy.
Yep.
Because I'm scared. And so, preparing yourself as a parent mentally for that experience shift is important as well.
So true.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think
now that they're older, they're sorry to cut you off. Now that they're older, they're like, oh, okay, fire means marshmallows. Much more interesting to kind of push their limits and get them to stay up a little bit later when it's nice to stargaze and talk about what we're looking at and all that, and reflect on the day and around the fire and such.
Yeah, engaging with that nature.
Yeah.
Again. So and then I think that. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Corey.
I'm cutting you off. Man.
No, dude, you are a guest. I'm cutting you off, man. But the one thing that's interesting, and if you do follow Corey, his rigs, you do have some tent camping, probably for the kids, but you have your vehicle. It's vehicle-based camping that you're doing, essentially overlanding. Yeah. So it's a little different, because when I grew up, I grew up camping, but it was mainly like, the RVs, the trailers with the motorcycles and all that stuff. So it probably made it a lot easier for my parents taking me, because they would just put me in the motorhome, or, it's comfortable. You just hang around the trailers and all that stuff. But the way you're doing it, you do have to be a little bit more ready and prepared. It's like, okay, is my tent set up? Are the lights set up? Do I have power running correctly? Because you don't have generators running probably. Are you running solar or what are you running on?
Yeah, now I'm not. Well, yeah, I guess I'm running solar now. Technically, yeah, I have a Goal Zero 200 watt panel. So, and then I have their 1500X. So that's our power source. But you're totally right. It's a different experience going camping, sort of, if you will, off the grid. I wouldn't consider campgrounds. Most of them, the ones you think about, the classic campgrounds, like I wouldn't consider that camping off the grid.
No.
So I'm talking about like going to Toronto Pinnacles. Like there's nothing there. Like it is empty, super duper empty. I mean, there's a gas station, 20 minutes away once you're packed up. But you're pretty remote. So it's a different experience for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you, for the kids, like, I think another big one would be maybe like safety. Because do you have little ones that you want them to roam, right? That's like part of the adventure for these little ones. Have you ever had any like crazy accidents or are you like super attentive the entire time? Because I think that'd be my scare if I brought like a little one, like a nephew or something camping, and I would be like, this kid's gonna booger it, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and I'm stuck with this like banged up kid. I don't know what to do.
I'm not worried about them roaming off and getting lost. Okay. We're sort of past that phase, but there was a time when I was for sure like super micromanaging how far they were away. But now it's just more about worrying about them falling and hurting themselves so severely that I have to boogie away and get them to a hospital. But I think that pops into my head a lot when I'm out, especially in a remote location.
Totally.
So if there's any fear, I would say for me, it's that. And it's, I don't think it's irrational, but it's definitely there for sure.
Totally. I mean, you probably just have like the standard first aid kit and stuff with you. No. Did you lose this?
No. I got. That was the first time I've ever gotten a call coming in.
Yeah. There you go.
We got put on Do Not Disturb.
What I was gonna say. Oh, you probably just have like a standard first aid kit or something, huh, Corey? I think we lost him, dude.
Yeah, I have an outer limit. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sorry.
See, there's that delay.
Okay. Yeah, I have an outer limit supply medical kit that I have always with me when I'm with the kids. And then I have a Garmin InReach that gives me a lot of like comfort. And you know, it helps to know that if I really need to, I can connect with the world no matter pretty much where I am.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that I really enjoy. I have a somewhere one, but basically the same thing, but just having the peace of mind and being able to like send a message home, it's like super useful.
Cool. Yeah. That's they were essentially the same thing, right? The little Garmin's or the somewheres and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. GPS
like
communication.
Yeah, they're the same. And it's helpful for my wife because when I go alone with the kids, she likes to know what's going on, right? And so if I'm somewhere remote, I can just shoot her a quick text and say, hey, you know, we're safe and sound. Here's where we parked. Or here's where we're camping for the night. And she gets the geotag and she can, you know, if we go missing, she kind of knows where we were.
She gets the geotag.
It's helpful for her to know where we're at. For sure. So it's like peace of mind at home as well.
That's smart. She just gets the geotag, puts it on Facebook.
Yeah, tracking.
Shares it with everyone.
It's like, I know where you are.
That's cool. I for some reason I never even put the connection together that you would take the kids by yourself. I would always imagine you would go as like a duo because I feel like it would make things easier. So kudos to you for just sending it solo, dude.
Yeah.
It does make it easier when you have someone else, but there's something about camping with your kids alone that like forces you to, I don't know. It's just really interesting to be with your kids alone and a whole bunch of nothingness, right? Just to connect with them on a really deep level. You don't have any connections to devices. You're just really with them, you know, engaging in the environment, talking about the environment and relaxing, which is amazing.
Yeah. You get to experience it on a different level.
Totally.
So
and
I think go ahead.
Sorry, the new camper you're putting on now versus the Land Cruiser, it has like it's a pop-up, right? The pop-up camper that you're putting on.
Yeah.
Does it have like a kitchenette and all that stuff inside?
Yeah, it has a burner. It has a stove. It has a sink with running water, hot water. It has 20 gallons of water on board.
Nice.
It has a heater. It has a dinette. It has really great insulation. So, you know, if it's windy and cold and rainy or snowing, there's somewhere for us to be. And that's the reason I went down this path. It just made a lot of sense for me.
Totally.
Yeah. Makes sense for me too.
Does it though?
You just can't afford it.
I think it makes sense probably for almost everyone. It's really nice to have that luxury.
Totally.
I don't discount that at all. I feel extremely fortunate that this is what we can do. That does not escape me.
Damn. It doesn't seem like you're going to miss the Land Cruiser much just from making this vehicle switch.
I think the only difference is going to be size.
That's it. But it's a 4x4 Tremor. You're not missing out on power. Maybe just trail size, which you can get into.
Gain to power. It's just, I would say just getting those pinstripes and everything.
Yeah, which I saw you already got.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of stuff doesn't stress me out at all. And I like doing trails that are a little bit more challenging. I'm not like going to go do the Rubicon in my, Tremor, but
you should.
I definitely No, I really enjoy like the off-roading aspect of what we do. It's part of something that's just important to me to feel like I'm fulfilled. So, I think the Tremor going to that from the Land Cruiser is probably the biggest downside. It's just, again, it's the length and having to navigate tighter trails that I want to go to. But honestly, when I was considering this option, I knew that I could think through all the places that I'd been, and I knew that there weren't going to be too many places I couldn't go that I want to go.
Yeah.
The places I could recall.
Totally.
We got a fucking...
I know, we have a leaf blower going in the back.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, that's why we're like...
giggling.
Oh, no.
The only trail that I could think of, there's really only two that I've done that I'm like, maybe I won't do that. One of them is Black Bear Pass. I did that in the Land Cruiser.
You did that?
I saw someone do it in a full-size truck, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a guy I follow on Instagram who the reason I follow him is because he did black bear paths in his trimmer.
Okay.
But it was a lifted trimmer. I think it's 6.5 inch, pretty tall lift.
Yeah.
Not that you really need it. It's that he didn't have anything in the bed, no weight in the back, and that's what makes me nervous.
Gotcha.
So, and I feel like I got that out of my system, frankly, and maybe I will when I'm there. Next time I'll be like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I could totally see myself just saying, all right, I'm going to go. I don't care. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I will be, I think. But it's one of those things where you're like, I shouldn't do that. I have kids now, and, a lot more at stake now.
And if you were to do it,
and then the other one,
if you were to do it, you'd probably do it solo too. I doubt you would have all the kids in there.
Let's all go down with the ship.
Taking you guys with you.
If I go, you all go.
It's sketchy. That's awesome.
The other trail that I could think of was actually a local trail, and it's just like doing a bunch of the offshoots at Cleghorn. Some of those are really tight and off camber.
Yeah.
And hug walls really close. And I love Cleghorn. It's like the first place I started off-roading when I was young. But I think that's kind of some of those tighter squeezes would be really difficult in the trimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would be so nervous, like, to flipping it or just like slamming it against like a wall,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many scary videos of that where you're inching and it's almost inevitable. Like you're really lucky if you don't slam the truck on side of like a granite wall or something like that. That's an expensive fix.
What's funny is like I don't have any interest in that stuff. It's just like it feels like it's so risky for the amount of money that I put into a freaking vehicle that I'm just like, I'd rather just go camp and like enjoy my time.
Yeah.
But I understand why people do it though. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm at that phase of my life where I'm starting to care less about that kind of stuff, but I still want it. And so Jaime, you asked me what I'm going to miss with Land Cruiser, and that's like it's an ultimate solo rig in my opinion. I had it set up dialed in for me to camp inside, and like everything was just there. So when I would go alone in that rig, it was like absolute dream, just perfect rig for me. And even if it was just me and my wife, absolutely perfect. That's the thing that I would take around the world.
It was
absolutely
incredibly unique too. I think that's like off of the curb appeal of scrolling on our digital platform. Right. That's, I think, the most captivating thing because of the world of Tacomas and Tundras and all this Forerunners. I just saw this Land Cruiser, and then that's essentially what caught my eye originally. And then after obviously meeting you at the cleanup and realizing you were a totally normal human being, I was like, wow, this is a double whammy, a sick rig and a cool dude. When you do,
normal, are you sure?
I would say, dude. I mean, I haven't really spoken to you too much. One thing that Kingston and I
knows me. You can vouch.
I got you. Yeah, Kingston apparently. You got the Kingston approval.
I only hang out with normal people.
He just gets up and leaves right now. One thing that Kingston and I have talked about before is like, especially when you're talking about like Cleghorn Trail or any of these trails or wherever you're going. Do you map anything, or are you pretty like, do you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants, when you're traveling? Do you use any apps or anything like that you before like a big trip?
Yeah, I definitely 5 years ago, very pre-kids, I would say, wing it, just wherever we're going to go, we're going to go. We'll figure it out when we get there, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But now that I have kids, everything is pretty planned. For the most part. And part of what I do when I'm on adventures alone is I will go to new places to seek out spots that I can bring the kids back to that I would be comfortable bringing them back to.
Nice.
Okay, scout.
I guess that's another really good tip. I do a lot of scouting when I'm alone.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I think when we started camping more together, I would say with Kingston and Gary, Kingston, I'm more of like, I wing it. And then after seeing how Kingston travels, he uses Onyx Off-Road, the app.
Yeah.
And that thing's amazing because it has like 425,000 marked trails, and you can save everything on your iPhone, tablet, whatever. It's an app. Have you ever checked that one out before, Onyx Off-Road?
Yeah. I use it. I use it quite a bit now. The longest time I used Gaia. And I still use it because I have so many references in that app. I've tagged so many places, and I haven't migrated the data because I'm lazy into Onyx. Yeah. But I'm using Onyx more now because it kind of does the work for you. You kind of just use it and show up, and it tells you where you can and can't go, basically. With all the cool like highlighted lines and such. So very.
There must be a way. There must be a way to transfer that stuff, because I know with Google Maps you can transfer it over to Onyx.
You can, you can migrate data from Gaia to Onyx. I actually have a pamphlet on how to do it. I just haven't done it.
Oh, cool.
You don't have time, dude? A full-time job, 3 kids and a wife? Like, how do you not have time?
Sick believe it or not, I don't.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we love Onyx. They're actually one of our sponsors, so big shout out to Onyx Off-Road for that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Question, right. When do you get this, camper and tray?
So the tray will be here sometime this month. This is April 21.
Wow. I forgot it was that fast.
It's going to be installed by Pop Top Overland in San Diego. Shout out to them.
Nice.
And then sometime in May, I'll get the camper.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I'll have the whole complete setup here in the next 2 months.
Is that one that's on your Instagram the one that you're getting?
It's not actually clear to me whether or not that's the actual one, but I'm just going to go ahead and believe that it is.
Yeah. It's the same like setup or whatnot.
It's not going to, you wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's literally, that's the one I'm getting.
Sweet.
Basically.
Where are they made?
What's that? Oh, they're made in Canada.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Red Deer.
Cool.
Red Deer, Alberta.
Well, it's not American made, so I guess
Come on,
good.
We love, there's no borders in the world. No borders.
I think this podcast style needs to be about kids and trimmers.
I know, geez. Yeah. I do. Are you going to leave the icons on there? When you?
I'm planning on leaving the icons on there.
Yeah.
The wheels, they're great. Each wheel is rated at 4,000 pounds of weight capacity. So I'm very much sticking with those. And a lot of people actually complain when I got the tires at 37 by 12 and a half. And they're like, why didn't you go bigger? And I was like, these are already massive.
They're huge.
I don't understand the big tire thing.
I'm not really, unless you're really rock crawling.
Well, what, other than the look of it, what good does it do?
I don't know.
Other than cost more money?
It is. Well, the good that it does, if you're not concerned about flipping over like I am, is that it raises, it's like the cheapest amount of lift you can buy.
Oh, gotcha.
So relatively speaking, you're talking about a difference ratio of 40 versus 37. You're raising your truck, all components, everything's going up 1.5 inches.
But it's like,
so there is some value in that, and that helps your approach departure and breakover angles.
Gotcha.
So
that makes more sense.
It all ties in. And so, yes, it's great in a lot of ways, but when you have a high center of gravity with the camper that I'm going to have, I'm very concerned about being too tall.
Yeah.
Which is why I didn't go with a bigger lift too. I only went 3.5 inches. So, I want to keep the mass as low as possible, and I recognize that I'm kind of giving up some stuff. I'm giving up probably some trails, and that's okay with me. I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah. Well, you're giving up some stuff for some amazing amenities.
Yeah, there's always pros and cons with everything, but I agree, because if you were to go any taller with the amount of weight you're going to have up top, that's just a top heavy vehicle, dude.
It's a little scary.
Yeah.
But I mean, people do it. But
totally.
Yeah, I've always been curious about that too, with the big tires.
Go big. Go as big as you can fit. And I'm like, well, 35. So I don't know what to tell y'all.
Yeah. I guess with diesels too, especially with you and Kingston having diesel engines, I don't think re-gearing would be an issue unless you're I
don't have to.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you're running plenty of power.
Yeah, like a V8 or a V6. You're definitely going to look into some re-gearing if you're putting big tires on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I went to 40s, I would definitely want to re-gear. There's no doubt about it. Or even some people are doing bigger. Like Tiny Home Toy Hauler has 41.5 inch tires. Justice.
Well, his truck is massive though.
So massive.
Which account is that?
But
Tiny Home Hauler.
Let me look him up.
Tiny Home Hauler? Yeah, I think it is. anyway, he has the most amazing Ford F450.
Holy shit!
I mean, it's a dually conversion. It's a 450. It's like everything about it is just big. So the tires don't even like really.
It doesn't even look big. I mean,
no,
they are big.
It looks normal.
I think if you were there, I'd be like, oh, those are really big tires.
Yeah.
These are crazy. He literally took a dually and then created into
converted it.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is cool. He has kids too. I'm guessing the Peru family.
Yeah, he has one kid.
Yeah, they haul around a camper.
Oh, do they?
They have a Black Series.
Yeah.
What do you
cool.
What do you think, Corey, is going to be the move? Because you're essentially have had a rooftop tent, a trailer. Mm-hmm. You're now going to have a full camper, like a bed camper. What do you expect to be the winner out of those three options? And all of them obviously have their benefits, but you having and using all three, which one do you foresee being your favorite?
I think the challenge is that all of them have like pros and cons. And I think it just depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. If I'm going to go do the Dalton Highway, I'm going to want to have the Tremor for sure. There's no doubt about it, because it's comfortable and it's a long trip. But if I'm going to Big Bear and I want to just hit some cool trails and camp for a couple of nights, I'd want to bring a Land Cruiser.
Yep.
So it sort of just depends. I think as a family unit, the Tremor is just going to make a lot more sense for us, and I'm going to enjoy it and be able to enjoy it more frequently because it's convenient.
Yeah.
So right now, that's just the right fit for me. I'll probably be back to a Land Cruiser when I'm older, I would assume.
That was such a well thought out question. Answer. I'm always so bad with that. I'd be like, dude, for sure the rooftop tent. Wait, no, maybe the trailer,
the camper.
Just comes super hard with
it was an agonizing decision to sell a Land Cruiser, so I'm very well versed in why I did what I did.
100%. That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, sweet. I mean, camping with kids, again, follow Overland Dad. That's like the easiest thing to say because you're going to see everything that this guy does. It's pretty amazing. His builds are always on point, and you're meticulously clean with all your parts you choose. It doesn't look like you've hacked anything. It's just really well thought out.
It's just dialed.
Yeah.
dialed.
Thanks, guys. Well, it was fun hanging out with you guys here. I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
We'll talk soon and get a trip going once you're ready to roll.
I'm ready to roll now, dude.
We should, Why don't we do a trip together?
He has the bed rack and stuff. So,
and do you have a rooftop tent?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Let's. I think we're trying something for mid next month, this month.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know.
All right. Yep.
All right. Well,
thanks, Corey.
That's the end of that. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Peace.